Because of the sudden popularity of Clawdbot, there is a huge amount of security threat looming around us. And in this video, I wanted to just quickly highlight what are the security threats that we have and how can you overcome it if you have the right settings in place. Thanks to the blog post written by Jamieson O'Reilly. And this is just a culmination of both the blog posts that Jamieson has written. I'll link it in the YouTube description. So kudos to Jamieson for writing this. Before we move forward, I would like to quickly show you the security vulnerability that I'm talking about. So this is a very popular website that scans internet. If you're not aware of it, internet is constantly being scanned to understand open ports. And in this particular case, you can see that this is a website called showdown.io, and you can go see here the amount of Clawdbot open ports available here. So you can see all these IP addresses, they are making their Claude instances available openly on internet. Some of them are behind authentication. That means like even if you have to access these services, you need to go through their authentication, but some could be without authentication. If you have seen my previous video about Clawdbot basically is a connection, a gateway to connect with all the different applications like WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram, and a lot of other applications. Clawdbot has two important components that can be compromised. The component one is the gateway. Gateway is something that handles the logic part, the AI logic part, where you've got the message routing, the tool execution, the tool calling, and also the credentials management. But then there is something called Clawdbot control. So this is like the web admin interface. So if you've seen Clawdbot installations, so when you install through the CLI as well, so finally you end up going to a web interface from where you can control all the settings that you want. So that is where you have got the configurations, integrations, you've got the conversation history, API key, credentials, and everything stored. So if you go to services like Showdown and then search for Clawdbot, then you can immediately see the instances that are available for you to use. In this particular case, and right now as we speak, we see 754 results. So you can see that there are like Clawdbot instances, the IP addresses are available. So instances like these could be exposed instances. Now what happens when somebody gains control of these kind of systems? The most important thing is they can read your entire configuration, which is a JSON file. They can see your API key, they can see your OAuth secrets, they can see the credentials that you have used to log in. So this poses a huge risk. In fact, they can see your conversation history. They can see the entire context because Clawdbot stores everything. Like Clawdbot doesn't forget things, so it remembers everything, which is a feature. But also in this case, it can remember all your private conversation, whatever you had with Clawdbot. So this alone is enough for attackers to gain access to use the system against you. But imagine the most basic thing somebody can do. Like if there is a conversation between a Clawdbot Telegram app and then the Clawdbot system happening, and typically you are going to chat with the Telegram and then ask it to do something. For example, you're going to say, read through my emails and then reply back to my wife, something like that. But what if in this case, an attacker who is using prompt injection and then trying to actually say something different. So for example, delete all my emails. Send an email to my customer saying that I'm going to give you $500 discount. So they can create trouble for you in a lot of different ways. So this was all primarily possible because of the reverse proxy authentication that Clawdbot was using. And this would have been fixed if you are using the latest version of Claude, because Jamieson was kind enough to raise a PR. So at this point, if you're using the most latest version, you may not face this problem, but something for you to keep in mind. The second way somebody can attack you using Clawdbot is using Clawdbot skills. Now, Clawdbot skill is this very simple system, or Clawdbot hub is a very simple place, like a place of repositories where anybody can go upload a skill and anybody can go download the skill and then start using it in their computer. But then the problem now is anytime, like if you have ever used like Python repository, like Artifacts, PyPy, or even Android applications, you know for sure that sometimes people might put malicious applications into it. So that means when you download that application in your computer and then you run it, then it might execute injected code or a malicious code that might inject something like a malware, adware, a lot of different kind of things into your computer, which is a problem. And the same trouble exists within the Clawdbot skill as well. So anybody can upload a skill and then just simply manipulate the counter and then rise up to the top of the Clawdbot skill leaderboard. So when people download these skills and then start running it on their computer, you can make them run malicious code, you can make them ping malicious servers. So the possibilities are endless. So even if your Clawdbot is secured in itself, when you download a Claude skill and if that is not properly validated, then you are actually inviting trouble into your computer. So these are the two most important things that you have to keep in mind, in which Clawdbot could be creating problem for you, threatening your security, especially if you're installing it on a VPS or a cloud service where it is going to be online 24/7. But in the next few minutes, I'm going to give you certain very key steps that are recommended by Peter, the creator of Clawdbot, so that you can keep your Clawdbot safe and secure and not expose yourself to these kind of security vulnerability attacks. The first one is enable sandbox. See, Clawdbot comes with something called sandboxing, and not a lot of people do it because everybody wants to YOLO it. There is a sandboxing environment. You should enable sandboxing in a simple language. Just do it. It is good for you. So if you enable sandboxing, then you can whitelist commands that you can run out of sandbox. So you have sandbox, and then you can run certain commands outside of sandbox, and you can whitelist it. And the third one is you have to read the security documentation. It's very, very important. When it was just a simple hobby project, very few people using it, didn't matter a lot. Now it's like a global phenomenon. Everybody is buying Mac Mini for it. Everybody is going bonkers with it. A lot of people are using it in production environment, which is not very safe. So definitely go read the security document, which I'll link it in the YouTube description. And then fourth one is use a very good model. Like for example, Claude Opus 4.5 is a really, really good large language model. Why? One, first of all, you need a good capability of the large language model to do certain things. Second, you want a large language model not to be prone to prompt injection techniques. For example, Claude Opus 4.5 is a really good model. Like even the Claude families of model, you know that they report to FBI and also they do all sort of weird quirky things. For example, you want a strong firewallish model, then you should use a model LLM that is strong enough. So if you are trying to save cost and then going with a, let's say, not a very popular model, not a very strong model, and if the model does not have good defense against prompt injection, then it might be a problem for you. So better to use a strong model. In this case, a lot of people are using it with Opus 4.5 or even Sonnet 4.5. Both the models are highly defensive, strong against prompt injection techniques. And the next one, the most important one, if there is one thing that you want to take away from this video, that is this. That is run Clawdbot security audit. So Clawdbot itself can fix all its security problems, and all you have to do as a user is to run Clawdbot security audit in your CLI, in your terminal. And if you do that, Clawdbot will go through the list of things that it has to check, validate, and then it will fix it for you as well. So make sure that you do it. Finally, if you are using Clawdbot privately chatting with your personal information, all such things, never invite that Clawdbot into a group chat, because that is again where people can do prompt injection and then get information, leak information. There are a lot of things that can go wrong there. So if you are having a private conversation with Clawdbot, then you should keep it private. So these are the 6 steps that are recommended by Peter Clawdbot. But there is some rumor, like some people have claimed that their Anthropic account was banned because they were using it with Clawdbot. I do not know how true it is, because I believe that Anthropic is gaining from Clawdbot because a lot of people are buying higher subscription for Anthropic because they want to use it with Clawdbot. So I can't understand why on earth would Anthropic go ban their account, because there is nothing malicious happening, nothing against terms of services. But we have seen before that when people try to use Claude code with different applications, when they wanted something like Claude code but with open code but with the Anthropic account, Anthropic indeed banned accounts. So Anthropic is a company that is notorious for doing this kind of thing. So keep an eye open for that kind of stuff. Like don't get your account banned because you wanted to use some hobby project. But in a nutshell, thanks to Jamieson and thanks to Peter for this wonderful content that helps us be safe and be aware of what kind of vulnerabilities that we might have, and be a 24/7 employee if you use it right. See you in another video. Happy prompting.